Welcome back. It's your boy, Better Yet the Man, with another episode of the show, Blue Couch Therapy. I'm your host, Cody. Today's Sunday, and today I'm out in nature. Anybody that knows me knows that I like to walk and I like to be outside all the time in nature. I got my binoculars out because we're doing some bird watching, coming to you live from Clairville Conservation Area in Brampton, Ontario. So, the topic of today's discussion is going to be brief. Perhaps I might ramble, and if I ramble, you can scramble. But it's just the idea that, something that came to me, the idea that you can't own nothing in this world, so why stress yourself trying to acquire more things? On this journey of life of mine, I've kind of been able to see a lot of things, experience a lot of things, go a lot of places, own a lot of stuff. Own, I say, you know. But I just find as though that you can't own nothing. We come in this world with nothing. They always love to tell us that you can't take nothing in you. They can't take nothing with you when you leave. So then, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the rush or the stress to accumulate so much crap while you're here during these 85 years, right? So, to me, I just think the idea of ownership is a tricky one, and it can be used to manipulate us into doing certain things that we can discuss. I truly feel as though you can't own nothing in this world. Everything, you're just borrowing it. Even if you think you own something, I love the example of the house, for example. Are you a homeowner? If you're a homeowner, congratulations. But look at your mortgage. Even your mortgage outlines you as the tenant. So technically, it's still the bank's house. And if you say, okay, well, I paid off my house, it's mine, I don't have a mortgage anymore, I feel you. But don't pay your property taxes for 2 years and see what happens to your house. See what happens to your house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying don't acquire things. I'm not saying be homeless. I'm not saying, that's ridiculous. What I am just trying to say is that we can't let these things control us. A fundamental philosophy that I've uncovered recently is just use the things. Don't let the things use you. Because if you have a house that you own, where you're the tenant of, as opposed to the bank, compared to the bank, and then now you have to work 40 hours a week, maybe 60, maybe 80, maybe 120 if you got 2 jobs and kids and a husband and this and that. Now the house owns you. To me, personally, that's what I think. Because you have this house, you sit there, you use it, but it's using you really, because you have to spend all your waking energy, all your thoughts, everything, trying to maintain the house, trying to make sure that the house is okay. I gotta work. No, I can't go out tonight. I gotta work so I can pay the mortgage. So now you're foregoing the enjoyments of life. I can't go to my kid's baseball game because I gotta work, because I gotta pay the mortgage, and I gotta pay the car note, and I gotta pay the credit card, and I gotta pay. So you can quickly see how this idea of acquisition and getting stuff rather than focusing on living and being free is something that is challenging for me. Because every time I find every time I sign on that dotted line, to own something, that's when shit gets fucked up. Personally for me, and it makes me laugh. When I think about it, it's kind of sad, because every time I try to go somewhere and put up posters and all these kind of things, something in life will happen, and then it's time to go. And then I just think then they're like, the third time I realize it, I'm just kind of like, okay, there's no reason for you to try to hold on to these things, grasp these things, and think as though you own them. You don't own them. They own you if they're causing you to feel stress, be anxious, work in a job that you don't want to work at, when you could be free, you could be chilling, you could be in the woods with your boy. So I say all this to say, to me, economic freedom, financial freedom is the biggest gift that you can impart on yourself, rather than a house, rather than a car, rather than a credit card. And don't be fooled. all these things are coming when I'm gonna buy a house. People are like, oh, so what? You're never gonna buy a house? You're never gonna buy a house? No, I'll buy a house when I can pay for it cash. Then I'll just use it. You know what I'm saying? I won't let the house use me. Because it kind of makes me sad, to be honest, to see people that like think that the only way or the only traditional way to live your life is to get a home, to buy a home, and just to sit in it. You know, I was talking to my dad the other day. I'm a nomad, by the way, in the sense that like I travel, I work from my computer, I work from my car, I work from libraries and public stations. When I get tired, I just go to hotels, I go to Airbnbs, and I'm cool. Nobody can kick me out. Nobody can say, oh, you have to stay here for 7 more years because your paperwork says this and your straw man says that. I can just literally just get up, take my bag, and go to the next spot. I might be doing work today in Brampton. I might be doing work in Hamilton. I might be doing work in Oakville. I might be wherever the day takes me. I might just end up in a different city that night. So I'll just stay there. And then so to me, having what some people may refer to as a home base is freeing for me. It's liberating for me. And it allows me to embrace my creativity and embark, see the world, walk around, enjoy the things, you know? I was speaking to my father, who I love dearly. Dad, if you ever watch this video, I love you so much. And I'm so thankful and so grateful for everything that you've taught me and everything, all the wisdom that you've imparted into the family. You have made some incredible sons and daughters. Love you so, 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 so much. So I say that to say, I was speaking to my dad on the phone and he's like, oh, so what? You're just going to like live in a hotel for the rest of your life? And I say to myself, no. But like, what do you want me to do? What does the world want from me in the sense of like, what, you want me to work 40 hours a week, 9 to 5 for 65 hours just so I can get a house, so I can buy a house just so I can what, sit in it, come home from work and just sit down? Nah, man, I want to be outside. I want to be active. I want to be walking around and enjoying life, nature, and my life. So I just think it's can be sad to me in the sense, because I think it's funny because people look at me and feel sad. Like, oh, you don't have a house and, you know, you should be having assets and properties and all them kind of things. It's on the way. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't you worry, because I've seen it. My father's house had many mansions. I'm not worried about that. It's like, to me, I feel sad for them because they're stressed out. I feel bad for people that are stressed out. I feel bad for people that are controlled by their assets. I think it's Robert Kiyosaki that says a house that you live in isn't even an asset. It's a liability. Because now if anything goes wrong, if your furnace breaks or your washing machine goes awry, whatever, you got to pay for it. You know, as a renter, for me, I just enjoy the things. If I want a car, the only thing I do have paperwork on a car. I got a car note on my Accord out here right now. So, but once that's finished, I'll never get another note in my name ever again. And besides, I'm building my business. So as a corporation, it's easier to manage these assets and do other kinds of things. So you're not legally bound or you're not legally liable for certain things and limitations. So, you can pass by if you like. No stress. Just somebody passing by on the trail. The space is for all of us to use.
Well, I wasn't here recording something.
No. The space is for all of us to use. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good one. So yeah, but in my personal name, never again. Never again in my personal name will I acquire things thinking that it's going to help me get to where I need to go. So I say this to emphasize, use the things, don't let the things use you, because once they start to use you, you're washed. Even for my car, for example, if I'm going to sit there and be stressed out because I have a car note, but I don't want to use the car to make extra money, you're hustling backwards. Because some people are going to think like, oh, well, I have the car, but I can't put miles on it because I might try to sell it and get some money. You know what I mean? I might try to. That doesn't make no sense to me. Use the things. Don't sit there in your house. Don't sit there in your house, laid up in the bed at night, looking up at the sky, worried about how you're going to pay the mortgage. Why don't you get out the house and rent it out and let somebody else stay in there to pay the mortgage for you? You know, I'm just trying to promote thinking outside of the box in the sense, because I don't want to see people sad. I don't want to see people suffer and be slaves to the bank. I think that's kind of what really gets me, is that like I understand the way the system is set up, by the way things are designed in order to keep us in the race, in the rat race, what they refer to. So, you know, go to work so you can get a job, so that you can get a house, so that you can sit in it, and then you can die in it. I don't know. I just feel as though you need a place to stay. Come on, don't. It's context. You know what I'm saying? You need a place to stay, and I understand that. But even I don't even remember what scripture it is off the top of my head. Let me find it for you guys. I didn't bring my physical Bible. It's in the car right now. But the scripture I'm looking for is, one moment, please. Which is Matthew 8 and 20. Matthew 8 and 20. Foxes have their holes, and Jesus said unto them, Foxes have their holes, and birds have their nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. So to me, like, that's what really got me, you know, as I started to get closer in my spirituality and start learning and understanding and getting closer to God. That was what was really poignant to me, is that the Son of Man have nowhere to rest his head. Everywhere you think is like your home can get snatched from you, you know? Now you let the people talk shit about you at work because you can't lose your job because you don't want to lose the house. You know, it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. And I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you guys smiling, but in my heart, I feel for you. I feel for my friends. I feel for my family. I feel for people all around the world that are not living in their divine truth and ultimate abundance out of fear, out of lack, out of limitation. And I think it's time for us to break free. I think it's time for us to break free from these molds that are keeping us trapped, that are keeping us bound in limitation. You know? So I say all that to say, guys, enjoy the things. Don't let the things consume your life. Don't let the things take over your life. And don't let these things be the definition of who you are. Okay? Hey, guys. Feel free to pass by. Don't mind me, okay? Thank you. Absolutely, yeah. I create content, so I think the trailer's for all of us to use. And I don't, yeah.
What is it, on Instagram?
YouTube, Blue Couch Therapy 88 is where I can be found.
Couch therapy.
Blue Couch Therapy 88, absolutely. Okay, sounds good, guys. Enjoy. Thank you. Love to see the people. So, in conclusion, guys, I just think that it's important to live your truth. It's important to understand what you really want. And really just ask yourself if these kinds of things, these kinds of possessions, these kinds of hustles and paper chases that we're on and we're going for is actually what you want and not what you think you're supposed to do or what society tells you that you're supposed to do. You know? It kind of reminds me of that saying where it's like, if the whole world was blind, would I really need to wear designer clothes? Would I really need a $5,000 sofa? You know? So, that's all, guys. Okay. Love you lots. Until next time. Peace.